some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Welcome to episode 36 of the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Google Play Music. I'm Sean alongside my buddy Joe. Joe, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, Sean? How you doing?
Not too bad for a Monday.
Yeah, right?
Yep. We want to be the number one podcast for Syracuse sports. So if you would, please subscribe and give us a rating on iTunes preferably, or anywhere really, but iTunes preferably. That would be awesome. Thanks in advance for that. And we are also on YouTube, but I mean, I don't know why you would listen to a podcast on YouTube, but we're there. So it's for later things, I suppose. We can just use it for whatever. But this is your FSU preview show, episode 36. And if you are like me and you watched FSU play Boston College on Saturday afternoon, you'd be thinking to yourself, where's FSU? Nobody showed up. Their offense scored 3 points. They look beat in the middle of the second quarter, sitting on the bench like a bunch of boobs, staring off into space. I mean, what happened to this team, Joe?
Oh, jeez.
It's awful.
I mean, they're not awful. It's what happened on Friday night was awful. That's for sure. They definitely gave up, and that was obvious, like you said. But
that was Friday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Friday night.
Yeah, my bad. You're right. My bad. Yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
No, it was obvious that they, first off, you got to kind of give credit to Boston College because last three games they've been unbelievable on offense, and they've always been a pretty good defensive team. And they're currently 3-3 in the conference and 5-4 overall. So they jumped into third place in our ACC Atlantic division. So they're not a slouch anymore, especially now that their offense has come around. And I don't know, Florida State's just 2-5.
2-5. I mean, an offense that put up, what was it? 213 yards of total offense. But if you take away one of the halfback Akers, our running back Akers threw a pass for 43 yards or something, 47 yards. So that only leaves them with 166 yards of total offense, and they only put 3 points on the board. But like you said, in defense of Boston College, I mean, they were on it. Their defense was on it. They played great, and they were probably underrated at the beginning of the year. Anthony Brown the Boston College quarterback, was only 6 for 20, though, for just an awful 54 yards. Yeah, they ran
all over him.
Yeah, they did. They ran for 243 yards and put up 3 touchdowns running. So, I mean, you can go kind of either way on that on the BC offense, but they did run all over FSU's defense. And not for anything, it was a Boston College home game. So, yeah. But to my point, though, they just looked. My main point, I guess, is that they just didn't show much heart. I don't think FSU just, like, their attitude looks just, you can see it on their faces, man, when they're playing, and it's just not FSU form. So I'll take it, though. You said last week you'd rather have them lose. I was wondering if maybe I'd rather have them win and kind of get off the schneid a little bit, but you said you'd rather get them a little beat up and lose. And it happened. They got beat up, too. Blackman was getting hit, and he seemed rattled almost the entire game. So,
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, the thing with Florida State, man, is that it's not – there's still a bunch of 4- and 5-star kids with great coaching. The beginning of the year, the first game of the season, they played Alabama, and they lost their starting quarterback for the year for the opening game and lost 24-7. And then they had a long layoff because of the hurricane. And they missed a game against Louisiana Monroe, which probably would have been another win, maybe a little confidence booster for the quarterback. But that game got canceled. I don't even think it's going to end up getting played. But yeah, if you look at the rest of their season, I mean, without their starting quarterback, they lost to NC State by 6, beat Wake Forest by 7, lost to Miami by 4, beat Duke by 7, lost to Louisville by 3, and then, obviously this Boston College game. So as you sit back as a Syracuse fan, you think, oh, Florida State's down. Florida State's, but they haven't blown out anybody. But
they haven't been blown out either.
Up until Boston College, they haven't been blown out either. So they still are a team full of 4- and 5-star guys. I mean, I was watching something today. They said something like there's like 5-6 NFL players on their defense. But another thing I heard also was that just from sources that a lot of the players kind of have given up on the season and going to a good bowl and care more about their NFL stock. Their NFL draft stock. So there's some unselfish playing going on, and obviously through injuries and the fact that they're not used to losing that much. So it's kind of chaotic down there. But either way, with that talent, it's not to say that they can come out and put a game together. So
yeah, you can see it. I mean, it shows, that they've given up. I mean, they just have there's no passion there at all for football. Now, just let's get to. All right, here's key. And this is it. This is the story of the Syracuse Orange entire season. Defense, get off the field on 3rd down, and offense, control the pace of the game, and you beat Florida State. I said that this was my upset pick for a bowl game back in the beginning of the year a few weeks ago. I no longer think it's an upset. They're a 2.5-point favorite, but not really a huge upset.
I think it's gone to 4.5 now.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Since it opened, it's growing. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, so maybe it will be an upset, but just when you look at the level of play, I don't think they can match Syracuse's energy on either side of the ball. And I hope they don't prove me wrong because I'll look like a fool. I've been saying this for so long, but if they do what they've been doing, I don't see a problem with Florida State. They got the home crowd with them. Their home crowd's crushed too, though.
Yeah, so, it's difficult for fans. It's difficult for everybody, and that's really why this game's so up in the air. Is because are they going to be able to match our want? Absolutely not. But are we going to be able to match their talent overall? And that's an absolutely not. So when it comes down to it, like you said, it's who wants it more. And if for some crazy reason Jimbo Fisher pulls a magic speech out of his, what, and gets these guys motivated, then, like I said, if a motivated, unselfish Florida State team comes and plays, then they can absolutely beat us by more than, and just as well as all the other losses that we've had. But if the same Florida State that we've seen comes out and eventually just gives in to the fact that we want it more than them, as long as we don't have crazy amount of mistakes, then I think that we'll be fine.
We can't have 4 turnovers in the first half. Absolutely not. But Miami, far better team than Florida State right now. And we hung with Miami with 4 turnovers in the first half. So, I mean, to me...
Well, and Florida State was there too. I mean, Miami won at the last play of the game type situation against Florida State. So, they've had some devastating losses as well.
Yeah, that's true. I just think, in my opinion, it's clear they're acting beat. They look beat. I don't know how many more magical speeches Coach Fisher could pull out of his hat, but he better come up with a good one. So I'm sure he's had some motivating speeches, leading in all the way up to the Boston College game. So, it is what it is, and we'll see. Do we have a time for that game? Did I see 3 or 2:30?
No, I think it's 12:20.
12:20. Okay, all right.
12:20. Yep. And another couple of just notables too. Kendall Coleman is going to be back, and he was our starting defensive end that got hurt first quarter at LSU. So this is the first time he'll be back since the LSU game. And also our safety from the first game who got hurt, Antoine Cordy, and the other backup safety, Jordan Martin, they are both out for the year. And that was all put out there today. So. All
right.
Yep.
Well, now we just have some NCAA news to go over with these NCAA schmucks and suits. Now, Coach Boeheim was asked about the violations to do with North Carolina. We never really touched on it. We might have mentioned it in passing one episode of how ridiculous it was, but you had these paper classes for 18 years. The only reason that they weren't, the NCAA's actual defense of not giving them any hell for this is that the classes were open to everybody. So anybody could have joined, and there was probably a couple, right? I think there was a couple.
No, yeah.
But it was set up for athletes to
outrageous percentage of those classes were athletes. So
yeah, exactly. And it was a breeze through class. We all know this. So Coach was asked about it, and he said, where is it? I have a quote here. After the Orange was hit hard with the NCAA president, the coach was asked about NC State, and he said, I'm not going to comment on any of that, Boeheim said when he was asked about the disproportionate penalties. But as you mentioned many times in your writings, head coach responsibility, that didn't apply to North Carolina. Screamingly obvious, and I'm surprised that you, in particular, haven't been all over that. I'm supposed to know about a 10-page paper, and they don't know about 18 years of a fake class. So, yeah. Boeheim on the NCAA rules, he is quoted as, quote, well, it certainly applied differently, unquote. And it absolutely did. I mean, you could come up with any cockamamie defense of this you want, but it's clear the whistleblower was a student who said, hey, look, I've got a degree now. I can't do anything with it.
No, the whistleblower was an athlete that ended up saying something, but then he didn't testify. So I wonder what happened there.
Right, exactly. A little under the table.
North Carolina, they spent $18 million, according to
$18 million.
$18 million in lawyer fees to get that taken care of.
Give me a break. The NCAA is they're so corrupt. They're so corrupt. They're just as corrupt
as our government.
Is the government. It's the only thing I could compare them to.
Yeah.
Right? They're almost as big too.
I mean, it's a smaller scale. But,
I know. I'm kidding. Obviously, but it's like money will get you anything.
Yeah.
It's like, you can lobby the government for pretty much anything you want. You find the right politician. Well, you can lobby the NCAA to get you out of anything. You find the right guy and you give him the right amount of money. All right.
Yeah.
So on to the next one. This one fascinates me, and I didn't heard about it until Joe brought it up to me today. NC State freshman Braxton Beverly was ruled ineligible for going to school. For going to school in the summer. Thad Matta abruptly left Ohio State this summer. Incoming freshman Braxton Beverly was granted his release from the Buckeyes and transferred to North Carolina State. He actually once scored 70 points in a single high school game, which is phenomenal, even for high school.
Yeah.
He hadn't played for the Buckeyes, and he'd only been going to school for a few weeks, and I believe it was during the summer. This doesn't say. Yes, it does. Okay, summer classes. And he was deemed ineligible by NCAA standards for taking classes in the summer. Why? I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense to deem someone ineligible for an entire year for taking classes in the summer. And if that's not absurd enough, there was another one. What was his name? It was a VC. Was it a VCU transfer? LeVar Batts. And he was deemed ineligible after he got injured after playing a couple minutes in the start of a game, and they ruled that he played the whole year. They counted his 7 minutes before the injury of his ankle in the 2015 season, which they counted as a full year of play. So when he transferred, he was deemed ineligible too. Both of those happened to NC State. That's absurd, man. You think some of these rules need to be looked at again? I mean, that's cockamamie, man.
Well, I know that when you transfer from like an equal division, like Division 1 to Division 1, Division 2 to Division 2 type, when it's equal competition, equal level, then you're supposed to sit out a year. But
Terry Henderson was his name. I'm sorry. Go on.
Terry Henderson, yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, a lot of times, like graduate senior transfers and then transfers, if a coach gets fired, they usually get the benefit of the doubt and they don't make them sit out a whole year. So, I mean, that's basically the rule that they were going off of. And just because he took the summer classes and he got to school early, and worked out with the team in the summer and everything, and tried to get some credits in, he basically got hurt because of that. So
right. Well,
it just doesn't seem like it's I don't know. Like if they care about the students and the education and stuff, then something like that shouldn't be a big deal, you know?
Yeah, if they cared about the students as much as they say they did, they care about. No, that's not even true. They don't care about the students.
No.
If they did, they wouldn't have all these freaking rules.
Yeah. It's just crazy to sit here and see all this stuff that's just...
It's someone's job to make rules in the NCAA. That's an actual job that someone's got to do. And if they stop making rules, then their job becomes pointless, right? I mean, if you're not doing something you're supposed to be doing, your job becomes pointless. So they have to come up.
Yeah, but the consistency of the punishment is the problem with everybody.
Yeah, you know? And that's true too. That's the main problem. You're right.
That's the huge problem.
That's a huge problem. Exactly. I mean, Syracuse doesn't have.
No, at least we don't got to worry about that anymore, right?
Yeah, right. Well, you know, Syracuse doesn't have to say $18 million to pay for lawyers' fees. Syracuse doesn't have that. They don't have that. They could never do that.
No.
Which is why we got shellacked, right? I mean, probably
yeah.
Not enough money changed hands, and then that is just obvious to me. But I mean, it's all speculation, of course. So whatever. All right, Joe, give me a little Syracuse basketball preview. We've done ACC Media Day. We got a preseason game coming up. You said Wednesday, right? In 2 days.
Yeah, November 1st. Yeah.
Yeah, November 1st. So do you know if that's going to be on ESPN3 or anything, or are we going to just have to track that on? I
don't know. I think last year the exhibition games were. I think you could watch them on Cuse TV, but I think you also had to buy it for like $5 or $7 or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Cuse TV is their YouTube page, so they'd probably they'd probably go live with that or something.
Yeah, I mean I think it's like Southern New Hampshire. I think is who we're playing. So it's not like it's not a game that's going to count toward our record. It's more of like a scrimmage type. So
right. So we don't really know the starting five isn't set in stone yet, and it hasn't really been announced, obviously. So I asked Joe, because Joe's way better than me at this stuff, and he gave me his top five in no particular order. Tyus Battle, 6'6" sophomore, coming into this year, averaging 11.3 points per game last season as one of the guards Joe's picking to start. I agree with that one. It gets a little fuzzy after this, but I agree with that. Coach has said that he's been working hard. He's improved. He's stronger. He's getting more physical. He's got more confidence, and he was dangerous last year. So
yeah, he's going to be one of the better players in the ACC. That's for sure.
You think so? You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got anything to add for
No, I mean, I think he's probably going to be going to the NBA after this year.
Yeah,
so
I would agree. Yeah.
I think that's the type of season that we're looking forward to Tyus Battle, especially since there's not so many people around him to take shots away from him. So he's going to have every opportunity to score and be the leader of this team. So
right, exactly. And we talked about leadership a lot last year. No one took the reins. Once in a while, you thought it was Battle, though.
No, and I mean, he's only a true sophomore, but because of the people that we have coming back and how young we are, he's got if he wants it, the opportunity's there. So just got to grab it.
The next guard you picked was Frank Howard. He only started 14 games last year. He missed the offseason, underwent surgery. 6'5" junior. Coach said he's getting better, but I mean that's not saying a whole lot in my opinion. We'll see what he can do. I think he's improved. Coach said he's shooting the ball better. So, Frank Howard's one of those guys I had high expectations for, and he just hasn't shown it to me, to be honest with you, yet. But I like him. I want to see him obviously succeed, and I think you're probably right for putting him there. But what do you say?
Well, he started last year, and Jim Boeheim gave him every opportunity to seize hold of the position until John Gillen was just better. And he did have an injury that he was fighting through, but I just see him as like Boeheim. He compared him to Scoop Jardine as far as being kind of a late kind of bloomer type,
bloomer, yeah.
One of those guys that really didn't do too much early in his career, but the last 1 or 2 years of his career, he was pretty good. And there's been times, he's shown flashes. I just have certain little things. Like I've noticed that, he gets frustrated and makes a bad play, and then that always pretty much turns into the very next possession, him fouling somebody because he's angry, and it's just
self-control. He has a self-control problem.
Yes, he's got a self-control problem. He's got to get hold of his emotions and understand that there's another play after that one. And as long as he can do that and stay out of his own head, I think that he could definitely surprise some people because he definitely has the right size for that 2-3 zone. If you imagine 6'5" and 6'6", if those are the starters in the top of the 2-3 zone, that's steals galore. That's fast breaks. He's got to just be able to, like they say in football, like you got to let the play go because there's going to be another play, and
exactly
that's what he's got to do.
Next one.
That's what he's got to do.
A little self-control and focus.
Right.
Your first wing guy, you got O'Shea Brissett, 6'8" Canadian, coming in for his freshman year, and he's hitting 3-pointers. Coach said he thinks he's working very hard. He thinks he's gotten better since he's been in Syracuse, and he has good work ethic. So I don't know a whole lot about the guy. I've watched some what do you call it? Highlight tapes and stuff like that. But highlight tapes are highlight tapes for a reason.
Right.
So, but he looks smooth. He looks good. What do you say?
I think he's going to be the surprise of this season, just because nobody really knows. When freshmen come in, you don't know who's ready to go and who's not. And he played in Canada, so I think they kind of hurt him a little bit because I don't think that they look at them as playing as good a competition. So a lot of times they traditionally don't get ranked as high as some of the kids in the United States. But if I'm not mistaken, he was the player of the year in high school basketball in Canada. And he can hit threes and he can drive. He's going to be, from everything that I hear, he's going to be pretty special, and he's going to surprise a lot of people, kind of like Torian Thompson last year.
Yeah,
if Torian Thompson would have stayed out of foul trouble last year, he was a double guy as a true freshman.
All day. Yeah, totally.
So this guy's and the thing is too is that he loves to play defense. He loves to hustle. He's not going to be that lazy guy on defense. So overall, I think that he's going to be a player, and it's going to be one of the better. One of those players that just fans fall in love with. That would be my guess as far as if there's a player like that, a newcomer coming in, it's probably going to be him.
All right. Well, on the other side, you picked Matthew Moyer, redshirt freshman, 6'8", 125 pounds. That's a lot of height and not a lot of meat.
Nope.
Coach said he's benefited from being here for a year. Obviously, he knows the zone. He's been able to watch it. He's been able to watch the team last year. So, and he's improved on his shooting. So, and coach said he's the most experienced forward they got. So, what do you say?
Yeah, it's pretty sad that that's the most experienced forward we have.
I know.
He played, he had every opportunity last year. It was between him and Torian Thompson on who was going to get the minutes that were available. And during the preseason, Moyer played a lot. In early non-conference games, but he got a foot injury early, and Torian Thompson was more physically ready to play, and he ended up sitting out majority of the year, so they just figured redshirt him. But you think 215 is bad. He was way less than that, so he's had a year to put on weight. But he did practice by the end of the year last year, and he does know the zone, and he is very physical as far as going up and getting rebounds and stuff. I don't know how much scoring we can rely from him. He'll get some dirty points, buckets off of boards and stuff like that, but I think he's going to pride himself more in defense and rebounding, and I just hope that he can play within himself, not try to do too much early, and then gain confidence and see what he can do. All right. That's the kind of player I see him.
Good. Okay. Your last one, down low, 7'2" center. Chukwu missed a lot of the season last year. I think he played in just 7 games. Transferred from Providence. He had a torn retina, and he's getting used to playing with goggles. So he says he hates them, but he's getting used to playing with them, and it's a sight to see. Here's a picture of him right here with some goggles on. But hey, you tear a retina, man, you wear goggles. You know?
Oh yeah,
that's what you do, right? So Chukwu down low, didn't get to really show us a whole lot last year. He's got the height. He's a big guy. He's a muscular guy. I mean, what do you think, Joe? Is he gonna be able to? Is he gonna be able to? What we really needed lately is muscle down there, and we just haven't had a lot of strength down low.
Well, from what I see, we only have 2 players that can play the middle, and it's him and it's Barama Sidibe, and he's a freshman coming in, and he actually played really good in the scrimmage, and they say the Syracuse coaches are really surprised about how actually like polished he kind of is on some of the things that they didn't think he was, and they said he's really active in the middle of the zone. Only reason I say Pascal Chukwu is because of his size and the fact that he's been there. So, and I think that he's going to be first in line as far as allowing to be able to start. So, but I think they're both going to get minutes in the middle. I don't think that's a one-man role. I don't think that one's going to be overly better on offense or defense. Maybe, I mean, I haven't really seen Barama play too much, so you never know. You might be a diamond in the rough for all we know. But for right now, I look at it as just it's a 2-man team as far as just clogging that middle and not allowing easy baskets. But I don't think we're going to rely on any of them very heavily for points. So
well, coach praised Sidibe and said that he's got great defensive instincts. He compared him to Bai Musa Keita. So.
Yeah, so they're
kind of both lanky like that, you know.
Right. Yeah, and also too, that's kind of just what I'm throwing out there. Just seeing how Boeheim's done it as far as in the beginning of the season, starting with the exhibition games and non-conference. He usually starts off with the more experienced guys and stuff, but everyone's going to play. I know that there's a certain amount of games you're allowed to play in before you say you can redshirt them or not. So everyone's going to play, and I know that I've also heard too, like Geno Thorpe, the graduate transfer from South Florida. Yeah, he's a 6'3", 6'4" guy, and Boeheim talked about how impressed he was with. They didn't know how tenacious he was on defense, and the fact that he actually plays defense, and he's actually a really good fit in the zone. So
he's aggressive,
right? And he's going to be able to score as well. So. He also talked about the fact that if teams go small or if they need some scoring options and stuff like that, they're talking about having Frank Howard and Geno Thorpe play the guards at the up top and move Tyus Battle, who's 6'6", down to the wing and going a little small with Battle at the wing, O'Shea Brissett, or a Moyer on the other wing with Chukwu or Sidibe in the middle.
Yeah. More options this year for sure. If you're going to pull a positive away.
Right, and
more
there's a lot of
players, you know.
Right, and there's a lot of guys too. You have to look at it. Frank Howard, he was kind of highly touted. People have been. I mean, this is his time. Yeah, if he comes out and lays an egg, then it's going to be a long season.
Well, it's going to be.
But if he
you think Thorpe starts for him if he goes out and starts picking up where he left off last year, or what?
He very well could. But you know, that's the whole thing. I mean, a lot of times they talk about having good guards is what helps teams. Good defense, good guards. If we can, we don't have proven, we lost a lot of our proven scoring. So
right.
We're going to have to play teams very, very like in the high 50s, low 60s. Our defense is going to have to be the focal point, is getting stops. But if Frank Howard can come out of his shell the way that we've seen him inconsistently do, if he can become consistent, and then you have Tyus Battle, who's like a lot of people are saying he's going to the NBA after this year, and then you have a Geno Thorpe who shot almost 38% from three-pointers last year. He's a graduate senior. I mean, you got 3 guards that you can throw out on the court, and with other big guys who are athletic and can make some plays, I mean, you can make some things happen.
Right.
So I don't know. We got picked to finish 10th in the ACC, and
I think we can do better than that.
I'm excited to see what we have. I think other people that we didn't talk about, Marek Doljaz, he from Slovenia. He's tall, but he's got guard skills. He's still kind of up in the air as far as I haven't heard too much about him. I wouldn't be surprised if he redshirts along with Howard Washington, the other guard from Canada. And they're not saying that Howard Washington's bad, but if Frank Howard plays the way that he's supposed to, and we have that 3-guard rotation, then he should be able to redshirt as well. So I'm excited to see the rotation and how the newcomers are playing.
I'm excited too. Hopefully we can all tap into that preseason game that's going to be coming up Wednesday evening, right? I'm assuming it's Wednesday evening.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Of course, it's at the Dome, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go there, all right, there it is. That's Joe's top 5: Battle, Howard, Brissett, Moyer, and Chukwu. All right, that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. This has been episode 36. Remember to go to facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast. Thumb us up there. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. For Joe, I am Sean. This has been episode 36. We'll see you next time. Later.
You just heard the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe.